I'm TX88, and to kick things off, we have the Bagler 5 versus the TheHaxor, which is in Group D for those who are following along with the challenge page. The Bagler has 2 wins on his scorecard after his match, and depending on how his race tonight goes and how the one thereafter with Disaster Caddy goes, he may very well be on the track to advance to the bracket stage. Meanwhile, the TheHaxor is a returning competitor from previous randomizer tournaments and events, and is a very well-known familiar name in the SMB3 community. He'll be starting the first of his 3 races in the group stage of this tournament. As I'm sure many are familiar with the tournament format thus far, the runners do have a choice of the flag sets they want to play prior to the race. And for this match, we'll be starting off with Group 2 flags, but hammers do not break locks. But the end-speed game will still be available. So I hope you guys are excited. So do get your guesses and predictions in when with which world we're going to be starting with first. I'm going to go ahead and say 3. All right, we see a 4, we see a 7. I'm going to go ahead and say 3. So what do we got? All right, and it looks like we're off, and the verdict is roll 5. We'll see what we'll be starting out with first. And it looks like we're starting off with 6-4. Not a bad level to be starting off with small. Just a little bit dodgy with some of those lag that's generated by the fire snake and the fire chomp, but they're both making it through there all right. Bagler taking a little bit of safety with that initial mushroom. Definitely not a bad idea. Always good to have at least one power up when you're just starting off the seed because you have no idea what's going to be coming towards you. But it looks like TheHaxor is going to be starting off, finishing off 6-4 first. So we'll have his audio first. And it looks like the first fort we're going to encounter is 7F2, otherwise known as Piranha Fort. TheHaxor is going to grab his mushroom here. They're both pretty close to the same part of the fort now. Looks like the secondary power-up is going to be a leaf, so Bagler's going to have a little bit of an advantage going through these piranhas right now since he can just whip these piranhas, or just damage boost, whichever he prefers. And yeah, it looks like it's been a pretty close race so far. A little dodgy around those boos, and we're through the pipe. Yeah, the basement of the 7F2 is a little bit awkward in Randomizer, especially since you have a very high chance of encountering one of those rogue hot feet there. So that can make maintaining your power up a little bit more difficult as you make your way to Boom Boom. Yeah, as we can see on Bagler's side, he got a little walled in by the boo and the hot foot as we just saw. But TheHaxor is able to maintain his fire, and he's got a nice quick fire kill on Boom Boom. Very nicely done. All right, so the bridge is formed, so TheHaxor has the option of checking out these pipe transitions. So we'll see if he has a nice convenient shortcut over to the airship, and it looks like he does not. He's gonna have to play a couple levels, but he doesn't have to fumble around with the pipe transitions too much, so we don't have to necessarily worry about having to play through the tower, which could be pretty long. It looks like they're both in one of the beta levels right now. So there's nothing really on the upper level of this, so you're pretty much obligated to go to the bottom path. So yeah, if you happen to be small or you have a tail, you could just go through the upper part and then just skip straight to the end of this part of the level. Ooh, almost taking damage from that Paragoomba, but Bagler's right out of there. Very nice. So we have 7-3 up next. TheHaxor's making some really nice work of these Buzzy Beetles. You don't always necessarily have an enemy at the bottom of those hills that you can stomp on. Sometimes you can have something something like a Spiny. Ooh, looks like I'm sorry, Bagler took a death in the Air Force. Yeah, he just realized at the last minute that he doesn't have to play that 40 and that blue lock isn't in his place. So set him back a couple of seconds, but yeah, still keeping pretty close in the race. And so we see TheHaxor was trying to build up P-Speed so that he can just kind of cruise through 4-3, but a little bit awkward to handle with this enemy set, so yeah, he's just going to take it a little bit safe. He wants to hold on to that Fire Flower. Can't really blame him. Right, so Bagler not too far behind. He's going to go through 4-3 as well. A little bit more dangerous with this enemy set. But we'll see if he's going to take any gambles that can pay off. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. All right, meanwhile, we see TheHaxor in 5-7 right now. He's already got his Fire Flower. He doesn't really have to worry about getting any additional power-ups. Yeah, that looks like the Spiny and the Lakitu are out for blood, so you see TheHaxor taking a little bit of damage, but he still gets through there, no problem. Well, we'll see Bagler finishing up 4-3. TheHaxor's going to take a pit stop for the end spade game, so yeah, it's going to be a random pattern every time you encounter. So depending on what cards you match in the end spade game in Randomizer, if you get like a pair of mushrooms, for instance, you're not necessarily guaranteed a mushroom, although that could happen. So the enemies you can, so the items that you can get in your inventory are random. So every cards you do match, it could be a 1-up or it could be a hammer suit or a cloud. You never know until you open your inventory. All right, so we're gonna first encounter the World 6 airships. So looks like Roy's gonna be a one-hitter. Max is gonna be the first one out of World 1. Get your guesses in. What's gonna be the next one? I'm gonna go ahead and say World 7. All right, so it is indeed World 7. So we already see 2 pipes that TheHaxor has access to on the first island. So he's going to do a little bit of trial and error and see what's the most convenient way to get to the end. And it looks like it puts him on the last continent. So there is a very good chance that if TheHaxor beats the Navy, that'll open up the bridge that'll allow him to just cruise through there at the end. So we'll see. As we've noticed by now, similar to the airships, auto-scrollers are disabled in Randomizer, so it's a good opportunity to make some use of some P-speed strats whenever you have the opportunity. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like a bridge was formed, so we're going to have to do a little bit of backtracking to see yeah, what's going to be the fort that's required to get to the end. All right, meanwhile, Bagler's just about to finish the Navy himself. Only about a level behind. He's still doing a really good job just keeping close. So yeah, similar to how we often regard the World 8 as the grand equalizer in Randomizer, the same could be said about World 7, depending on which pipes you decide to go in which order. So we found out that the next fort that may potentially be required is going to be on the southern continent, so it's just a matter of finding the path that'll lead you there. Yeah, speaking of levels that could be potentially a little tricky in Randomizer, we have 1-1 with the Angry Sun. Yeah, it's a little awkward to navigate through with since you can't necessarily get away with the same P-speed strats you would normally do in vanilla, depending on what the enemy set is. Alright, so we see Bagler making the rounds as well. Looks like he has the right idea of which way he wants to go now. So he'll probably be finishing up 1-1 as well. Looks like the fort that's going to be needed is 6F2. The tail is definitely a good power-up that you're going to want to have going into this fort. You don't have to backtrack for any additional power-ups. You can just fly right on the underpass, and you're good to go. So 3 stomps and Boom Boom is out of here. We've tried pretty much every pipe that there is in this World 7 overlay, so TheHaxor shouldn't have too much trouble trying to find his way back to the airship. We'll have another opportunity to play the end spade game, so we matched a pair of 1-ups, so we'll see what he got in his inventory afterward. He got a pair of mushrooms, we'll see. Be a cloud, it could be a mushroom, could have gotten a hammer suit. As we noted before, hammers do not break blocks in the seed, so So clouds are going to be the hot commodity going forward. Alright, meanwhile we see Bagler finishing up 6F2. He stomps and he's done. So, we don't necessarily have a music box in our inventory to skip over the Piranha level, but we do have the next best thing, which is a star, so we can just P-speed his way into the pipe, and he'll be able to get another free item out of it. And it turns out to be a P-Wing. There's definitely a lot of good applications you can have for a P-Wing. You could use it for 7.5, you could use it in 6.9 to get over that wall so you don't have to wall jump. You could use it for a select couple of airships that'll allow you to fly over the mast and give you a nice shortcut to the Koopaling, depending on what it is. When we see TheHaxor encountering a little bit of hitbox shenanigans from Ludwig, that can often happen when you're trying to jump on his head, but he jumps at the same time, and both of your accelerations are so fast that the hitboxes just kind of collide into each other, so you just fall through each other. Hate to see it. Nonetheless, he gets out of there, no problem. So we've seen World 5, we've seen World 7. I'm going to go ahead and say that the next one is World 4. And it happens to be World 2, the Desert Worlds. Yeah, speaking of levels, that would probably be advantageous to have a P-Wing in. 6F1 would definitely be one of them, but yeah, the next best thing would definitely be a star. You don't have to worry about damage boosting. You can just use your invincibility to get over that spike bed, no problem. Very nice platforming on that front. Well, we see the Bagler finishing up World 7 himself, so he's going to be joining TheHaxor momentarily in World 2. We'll see if he has any interest in going for that same star strat. See an interesting strategy to backtrack to the fort, which happens to be 5F2. I'm guessing TheHaxor doesn't want to take any risks of there being a lock in front of the castle where the airship's going to be. So he's like, no, I'm going to go out of. I'm just going to get it out of the way. All right, we see Bagler making use of the star strats in 6F1, so we're going to see a nice quick kill on Boom Boom. And he's out of here. Nicely done. Alright, we're going to be coming up on 3-5. So yeah, because we don't have a P-Wing equipped, TheHaxor's going to be having to do a little bit more swimming. A little bit more time consuming, but definitely one of the more tedious to get through, though not necessarily too difficult. Although you can sometimes get a little bit walled in depending on what the enemy set is, as we saw from the little Cheep Cheep. Sometimes you can get sandwiched in by a Big Bertha or a blooper. Speaking of which, Bagler does have a P-Wing available for 3-5, and he's going to have some smooth sailing, and just like that, he caught up. Love to see it. Alright, so we're going to be abusing a little bit of the screen scrolling to bypass that hammer bro that was in the center of the screen transition. And we're going to have 3-6 without the auto-scroller. Yeah. A little bit of platforming involved, and it's impressive to see just how quickly it goes when you don't have to just sit through that auto-scroller. Wow, Bagler not too far behind. It looks like he's going to try and make use of some P-Speed strat with that damage boost. While we see 2-1 is up next. Definitely another level that could be a little bit more annoying depending on what the enemy set is. We see little rogue Cheep Cheeps out on the bottom. And if he was just a little bit higher, he could have gotten sniped by that Paragoomba. Very lucky. Alright, we see Bagler making good use of those matches in the card game. Got a pair of flowers, got a pair of stars. He's getting some pretty similar matchups that we had before. Bagler also noticing he doesn't have to play that fort, so he's going to take a chance, go around the lock and see if the level happens to be any shorter. Ooh, that was some really sweet dodging we saw on Bagler's side. It's like that little Cheep was going right for him. Right, so Hax is going to be the first to be closing out of the desert world, and we're going to be in the World 3 airship, so he's going to be fighting Morton on flat ground. So we're going to see how many hits it takes to take him out. Alright, so we have an early one-shot, and he happens to be another one-hitter. Trying to build up P-speed for that off-screen one grab, but got a little bit frame rolled on the turn back, so no trouble at all, nonetheless. Alright, so we see some predictions out for World 6, it being the next. Go ahead and say the same thing. It happens to be World 3. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with 4-2 over in World 3. So still doing his best to maintain that tail. Probably would have damage boosted from one of those Cheeps and then just carried that P-speed straight to the end. Who knows? Maybe that tail will have some good use in later levels. Sometimes it's a trade-off that you never know will pay off until it actually happens. Alright, so we have 4F1, so definitely a good level to be damage boosting in if the enemy set presents that opportunity, which it doesn't really seem to be doing, but Thwomp's going to give it to him anyway, and yeah, he's going to get a start from that power-up, and he's going to have just enough iframes to take out Boom Boom. Very nicely done. 287, really solid time for 4F1 in general. Or otherwise. Alright, so we see Bagler really committed to the end spade game. It looks like he's done a really good job memorizing the card set, so he's just able to close out the whole set. Really nice. Oh, I'm sorry, HaxOr. Able to complete the set. Alright, so we have 7-5 up next. And we see, just immediately, we see the Patui just falling through the floor. Yeah, definitely a good idea to hold on to that red Koopa shell, because you never know what's going to be on the bottom section when you come out of that second transition pipe. And we, definitely a good idea. You never want to have to deal with that ambush by those fire nippers. So it looks like we're dealing with a 7-8 enemy set. So we'll see what he's going to do in this next part, since he doesn't have a tail or a P-wing to get to that overpass. So he's going to maintain his P-speed. Does he have enough momentum to get across the gap? Doesn't look like it, but he's going to go for the clip. We'll see how many attempts it takes. Well, we see Bagler finishing up the 4F1 as well, so he's able to get that same star kill that we saw a moment ago. Alright, so we got the clip and he's out of here. So Bagler, I see, is getting the bad news as well. So HaxOr's maintaining a P-wing all the way through 4F2. Not a strat that I would normally do, but yeah, more power to him if he's able to make it work. Alright, so we're coming up on what I believe to be the 5-7 beta level. Much of it, there's not going to be any platforms or any obstacles in your way, aside from depending on what the enemy set could be. You could potentially take damage, but yeah, you're just able to run through, and it's no trouble at all. Well, we see Bagler is able to maintain his tail going through 7-5, so he's able to just fly over that gap to get to the exit pipe, and he's going to save a little bit of time over HaxOr. So he's doing a good job catching up. Right, so we're doing a little bit of trial and error to see which is going to be the pipe transition that leads us to Wendy. But yeah, in the process, we are coming up on the 1.5 beta. We see the color palette is a little different from what we would normally see in vanilla. It seems like the Koopas are always consistently in those same spots, no matter what the seed is. Don't see any despawns on any of the piranhas either, so he gets through there no problem. Alright, what do we get from this Hammer Bro fight? It looks like it's going to be a mushroom. Meanwhile, we see TheHaxor on the World 7 airship. So, he decides to go for that second power-up that's going to be on the upper section, just coming up right here. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He's just going to maintain his P-speed and just continue pushing forward. We're not going to see a fire kill on Wendy. See how many hits she takes. Ooh, so it looks like it's going to be a Baconator Wendy, and it's going to take at least more than one stomp, so... yeah, TheHaxor made the fatal mistake of just getting pushed to the right and just got cornered in, so... He was just kind of banking on her, just the gel doing a high jump so that he could just get out from underneath. But yeah, he just got the bad news a little too late there. That's going to allow Bagler a little bit of time to catch up. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a 4-hit Quaking Wendy, so almost the full Baconator special. Alright, so we've completed World 5, 7, 2, and 3, so that leaves us with 4, 6, and 1. So we get a Fireflower from the Peach letter, and the next one's going to be World 6. So this is definitely one of those worlds where if you happen to have a hammer, it could potentially come in handy depending on where those pipe transitions lead you. And it doesn't look like the one behind the rock is going to do us any favors. So yeah, unfortunately, going to have to take the more scenic route in the meantime. So we have Bagler finishing up Wendy. We just got the news that she's going to be a Quaker as well, so he can just keep a pretty consistent rhythm, and he'll have no trouble at all, as we see. Very nice. Alright, so we've seen 2 out of the 4 pipe transitions. Where's the third one going to lead? And it takes him right to the end. It doesn't have any additional bridges to build, so this is going to be, yeah, a pretty jet World 6. You'll love to see it. We're going to be on the World 2 airship. Definitely a good opportunity to make use of some P-speed strats, and if you happen to have a tail, you can just fly over the mast. You have a nice, convenient shortcut to the pipe transition to the Koopaling. And we have Lemmy. It looks like he's going to be a full 5-hitter. I always love watching Lemmy fights when he's not on that flat ground, so you see the bowl that he's standing on just kind of stuck in the floor. That can kind of be a blessing in disguise, because you don't have to worry about what elevation you're on when you're trying to fire kill him. Alright, so we see Bagler's going to be going for the Hammer Bro fight. He's going to get a star for his trouble. Alright, so we don't see any forts in plain sight on TheHaxor's side for the end of World 4, so I'm thinking he's going to take that pipe transition to see if he could bank on a shortcut to get to that fort that's over there. And hopefully that'll be the one that he needs to get to the build the bridge. Yeah, he gets the bad news that he's may potentially have to do both sides of that fork in the road. He's going to hope that the one that will, the one fort that has less stages required in order to get to it will be the one that he needs. Otherwise, he could be in for a long ride. Alright, so first up we have 3F2. Yeah, there's not really going to be much going on in this fort. It's going to be very consistent with the vanilla SMB3. Still the same roto-disc nonsense that you have to deal with. And the rhythm of your swimming is going to be pretty similar to what you would normally do. I'm thinking both of these runners are thinking, thanks game. You gave me a hammer from this Hammer Bro fight, and I have no place I can logically use it at this point. Yeah, on the bright side, it looks like the fort that was required did end up being 3F2. So if Bagler makes the same decision, then yeah, it's going to be smooth sailing on his way to World 1. Looks like he's going to be taking both paths, so yeah, they're on even playing field, so to speak. Yeah, that's true. The Bagler did face that extra Hammer Bro fight, so he does have that cloud in his inventory. But that's going to allow him another opportunity to do some catching up. We saw a stomp kill on Boom Boom just a moment ago in 3F2, but Bagler was holding on to his Fire Flower, so that's going to allow him to gain an additional 3 seconds. Alright, so we have hand trap number 2. Again, not too much different from vanilla, just a little bit of standard platforming, and yeah, quick and easy. Alright, so speaking of levels that are pretty annoying to be dealing with in Randomizer, we're coming up on 610 now. You don't have the luxury of doing the same P-speed strats you would normally do in vanilla. So he's gonna have to be a little bit more careful as as they both make their way through the white blocks and it's around that angry sun towards the end. Alright, so we see Bagler finishing things up with Iggy. Alright, and we're gonna see all 3 hand traps in this seed. Got a little caught up by that Sledge Bro just now. Ooh. One thing you hate to see about the bros in hand 1. Sometimes it's very hard to predict when they're going to jump. Well, it looks like TheHaxor just got the unfortunate news about Atlantis. So this is one of the few levels in Randomizer where you're pretty much stuck in the auto-scroller state. Luckily, he does have a cloud. He's going to skip over it, and yeah, good to have that P-Wing right at the end of World 1, so he can just grab the free item and not have to worry about whether or not that lock is going to offer him any shortcuts. Alright, so we're gonna see our last Hammer Bro fight of this seed. It happens to be Tanuki Suit. Not a bad item to have per se, but if given the opportunity, I probably would have music boxed over it if I known. Alright, so last airship we're gonna be dealing with is the World 5 airship. While we see Bagler finishing up Hand Trap 1, sorry. Yeah, it looks like those that Fire Bro's just in the middle of giving him the business, and he's back to Small Mario. So it's gonna be want to be a little bit more careful. Ooh. Oh, I got sandwiched in between those two Sledge Bros and just got double sniped. Hate to see it. Yeah, just to clear up a little bit of confusion, both of these players have the option of choosing which flag set they're going to do for their respective races. And among the flag sets you can pick from is the Group 2, where hammers don't break locks. So we may end up seeing that in Race 2, depending on what they had chosen. It looks like Bagler just got the news about Atlantis in his way as well, and fortunately, as we saw before, he does have his extra cloud, so he'll be in good shape to just get out of here. And it looks like he's gonna pick up the use the music box on that Hammer Bro. Not a bad idea considering how robust his inventory already is. Already has a tail going into 1F, so yeah, he's set to go, and he's gonna catch up a little bit of time. So, meanwhile, we see TheHaxor in World 8, otherwise known as the Great Equalizer, so he's going to be doing a little bit of trial and error to see which of these pipes is going to lead him to Bowser's Castle. Dead ends, man. Dead ends as far as the eye can see. So yeah, looks like he just came to the realization he's gonna have to get past that tank if he wants to progress any further in World 8. So happens to be 6F3. He tried to go for that floor clip to allow him to bypass the Boo elevator. That would potentially save him 7 seconds. Didn't quite make it, but he's alright. He's still got a pretty solid inventory himself. It turns out from the Peach Litter we got a music box. It's a little too late to be making any more further uses of those items. Nonetheless, yeah, Bagler is now in World 8 as well, and we'll see which one is able to find the board that will allow him to progress to Bowser. Well, up next we see on TheHaxor side we have 5F1. Yeah, one of the most annoying things about this Ford in Randomizer is sometimes you can get a reverse trajectory on the roto disc, which makes them a little bit harder to navigate past with P-Speed. Yeah, we saw a little bit of double damage boosting to get to the end, but yeah, in the end, we get to Boom Boom and he's out of here. Right, so we see a lock burst on the left-hand side of the dark room, so we know that's not the one that's necessarily required. Plus it opened up the path to the last fort that they'll need. See it. A little bit caught up by that hand RNG. It's hard to really know what you can predict if it's going to be there unless you actually cross over that tile. Yeah, getting a little bit of bad RNG, having to take those 2 deaths so he doesn't have to play through those levels. Hopefully he doesn't have to do any additional backtracking. Alright, so he's going to take a chance on his anchor, and it happens to be a Fire Flower. Alright, so we're in 5-4, this 8-1 panel. Maintains it through there, not having to worry about the Angry Sun. It's a little too late for it to really cause any serious damage. Alright, so we're on 2F now. I do believe that we're pretty much coming close to the end of stuff that you could possibly do in World 8, so this may very well be the one that's needed. Alright, so we see Bagler doing the Navy on the first screen of World 8, and it happens to be Super Tank. HaxorR just can't catch a break from those those hand RNG. And those grabs are just giving him the business, and he's stubborn. He doesn't want to play this level, and who can blame him? You lose a lot of time because of one stick, just because you have to take the lift because you have no idea if there's going to be an enemy in the air that you can really boost off of with P speed. This allowed the Bagler a little bit of time to catch up, and since he has the tail, he will actually be able to fly over if he can navigate past those beams. Ooh, and it looks like a really smart idea. Be able to backtrack rather than just take the death. Oh wow, we see HaxorR finally found his way to Bowser's castle, so he's got a fire flower equipped, and he's pretty much in the driver's seat for this race. One thing that can really cost him at this point is either taking a death or just losing his fire flower. That can cost him a good 40 seconds. We'll see if he has any luck with trying to clip through the upper portion of this section right here, or if he's just gonna deal with the statue room. Looks like that's gonna be the case. We'll see how many tries he takes for this clip. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, Bagler realized that there's something on the other side of that 8-1 panel, but he doesn't know what it is, whether it's an extra fort or it's a pipe transition that'll lead him to Bowser. Well, see, HaxorR finally bailing out on the clip. He doesn't know how far ahead he is right now. This is still capitalize on this lead. Yeah, really impressive dodging skill. He does maintain his fire flower. Got Bowser, 35 hits to go. He's done. The nice pattern from Bowser. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs out for HaxorR. He's gonna win first race. Very, very nice. HaxorR finishes with an official race time of 36:04. Meanwhile, Bagler is in the middle of wrapping up World 8 right now. I do believe he's finished every possible fort that he could play at this point, and he's got his power up and he's good to go. It doesn't look like he has a fire flower equipped, so he's gonna have to take a little bit of a longer avenue to finish Bowser. So he's gonna have to take the traditional break the floor, or maybe the power up on the bottom section will allow him to luck out. Got to be a little careful around those roto discs. A little risky there, but he's getting through there, no problem.
Orb.
Alright, Bagler gets the clip. And coming up on Bowser. Alright, 2 more stomps and we're pretty much done. Alright, and Bowser is down. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs out for the Bagler. Nicely done. Awesome performance from both of them. Bagler finishes with an official race time of 38:48. So just allow us 5 minutes and we'll get both of these racers set up. I'll be with you shortly. All right, welcome on back, everybody. So yeah, for those who are just joining us, we are beginning race 2 between the Bagler and the TheHaxor for the SMB3 Randomizer 2021 tournament. So HaXor did take the first win in this race. So the next flag we're going to be seeing is going to be the all question marks flag set. So every level panel is going to be replaced by a question mark with the exception of the forts. And this time hammers do in fact break locks. So do get your predictions out. Which world are we going to be starting with first? I'm going to go ahead and say 6 again. I'm sorry, 6, just rather. I predicted 3 last time. Right, so we see a guess in for World 1. Countdown has begun. And it's going to be World 1, indeed. All right, so we're going to be seeing the 6-2 beta level. They're both going to be grabbing the mushroom at the exact same time. Gotta love the sync right in the beginning. All right, and by the slightest margins, Bagler takes a nice early lead by about a half a second. All right, so our first four we're going to have is 1F. So this is probably going to be the level that both going to want to play through regardless, because it'll allow a nice shortcut over that level panel that's in the middle of the overworld map. It's definitely advisable for them both to just forego the item and then just play through Boom Boom. Alright, so because of that death that Bagler took, the TheHaxor's going to take a little bit of a lead by a couple seconds. Still very much anybody's game. So yeah, that lock is going to break. We're going to see what's coming up in what would be the 1-5 panel. It's going to be 5-1. Yeah, Fire Flower is definitely going to be a nice power-up to have, so you can just snipe out whatever's on the stairs. Smooth sailing to get to the end. Unlike the vanilla enemy set, it doesn't really have to worry about any of those Paragoombas just trying to surprise attack him. Our first Hammer Bro Fire, what we're going to get is our first item in the inventory. It's going to be a hammer, so yeah, because hammers do in fact break locks in this flag set, that is definitely going to be a lot more helpful moving forward. And we're going to have our first Hand Trap 3. And they are neck and neck. Bagler's done a really good job catching up. But he does still have to fight the Hammer Bro though, so yeah, that's something to consider. Alright, so we're going to have the World 1 airship in World 1. Ooh, it looks like HaXor got caught a little bit by the Quaking Larry, so he did lose his Fire Flower. See if Bagler has any little bit of luck, see if we can get a nice quick fire kill on him. Ooh, and Bagler gets the same pattern. Hate to see it. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and say that we'll potentially have some vanilla order in here. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we'll be seeing World 2 next. All right, so it was statistically unlikely, but you can't fault a man for trying. It's going to be World 7 next. It takes him straight to the end, and TheHaxor has that hammer. Does he want to use it? He does. All right, smooth sailing it is. So he's going to be playing 3-5, and he's going to be on his way out of here. Does Bagler have the same strategy in mind? I'm going to go ahead and say he does. He has no hesitation there at all. I don't even believe it. Like, is it really going to give me the end of World 7 that easily? No one wants to deal with the pipe maze that this overworld can potentially offer, so let's just get it out of the way. Never a bad time to use a hammer in World 7. Oh yes, and that's right. We still do have the end cards in the All Mystery Seed. We see one pair of matches for the stars, and we'll see what item it gives them. Because we're already here, might as well just take the extra 15 seconds, play this Piranha level, get another nice free item out of it. It doesn't get that same pair of stars though. Ooh, and that Piranha has a cloud. Definitely something you like to see right in the beginning. Alright, so to close out World 7, we're going to be on the World 3 airship, so we're going to be fighting Ludwig on flat ground. Alright, looks like he's trying to build P-Speed for that off-screen one grab, and it looks like he's going to forego it. TheHaxor is finishing up Ludwig, Bagler starting his fight. Turns out to be a 4-hitter. It looks like he tried to build P-Speed for that off-screen one grab as well, but he was a little bit too late. He was a little too far to the ground. Alright, so we've seen Worlds 1 and 7. I'm gonna go ahead with Chibikage and say World 3 as well. It happens to be the case. Right, so those two pipe transitions do not lead anywhere, so we'll be having to take a little bit more of a scenic route moving forward. Nobody likes to see 6-5 in Randomizer. Not that convenient just to do a nice simple despawn strat that you would do with the nippers up top. So hopefully he doesn't get a bad enemy set. Best to get that Goomba shoe out of the way before it has a chance to damage you. And a little bit frame roll just trying to build that flight, but yeah, with that ooh, no. That you don't like to see. The shell expired just as he was about to throw it, so he's gonna have to backtrack with the tail. This allows Bagler a little bit of time to catch up. At least something that he needed. Alright, so we found the pipe transition that's going to lead to Wendy, but we have no more hammers in the inventory at least, so we're going to have to do a little bit of scavenger hunting to find the fort that we need. Yeah, and in the process we see 7-2. Who's about to get the bad news about the lock that's in front of the castle, so... Well, Bagler's making some good progress in 7-2. He's got that note block bridge built up. He's not going to bother with the bottom clips. Almost never works out the way you want it to, so best just to take that time sink, just do a little bit of swimming, and he's out of here. Yeah, we see a question from Cranky Hero in chat. The flags that they're playing are the all question marks flag sets, so all the level panels are going to be marked with a question mark, with the exception of the forts. But hammers do break locks, and they still do have access to the end spade game. Sure thing. All right, so we're going to be seeing Bagler finishing up the Hammer Bro fight. And it's going to give him a Tanuki suit, so definitely a lot of good applications for a tail moving forward, since we haven't encountered Fort Knox just yet. All right, so Bagler sacrificing his power up a little bit so that he could build some P speed. But it looks like he took the 100 coin fine since he didn't have to play it anyway. All right, definitely a good level to have in 7-4, the frog suit. So that time loss he took in 5-3 is pretty much about to go out the window, because he's going to do a lot of catching up with that fast swimming. But one of the unfortunate things about swimming fast is sometimes those fish can take you by surprise. But still, he's able to get a nice couple seconds back. We just have to play a little bit more carefully. That Big Bertha almost got him for good. And just like that, only a couple seconds gap between them. While Stu takes back the small lead, and he's going to be starting off with 3-3. Yeah, if you can't do the P-Speed trap the traditional way with the tail, the next best thing is just to hit that P-switch so that you can build a nice flat platform for yourself to build up on. We'll see if Bagler has the same idea as well. He's just going to continue pushing forward. Because he doesn't have that P-Speed build and he's dropping in the water a little bit, he's losing a couple more seconds again. Meanwhile, we see TheHaxor coming up in 8F, so this could very well be the fortress that he needs to open up the path to Wendy. He's not going to take any chances of trying to build conveyor belt P-Speed. He's just going to go, go, go. Hopefully he gets that nice one cycle, and the enemy set in the second room is going to allow him the chance. Got a nice damage boost off that dry bones. Still has enough frames to get through there. Very nice. Alright, so we see Bagler taking a pit stop to do the end spade game, so it'll be interesting to see what items he's able to get from his inventory. Meanwhile, he's going to be starting his path to 8F as well. A little bit of damage boost, not a bad idea to grab that Fire Flower. Alright, so we have 3-1. Bagler is able to gain a second. Well, I was about to say he was about to gain a second from that conveyor belt P-Speed, but that turn back got a little commentator's curse there. But it looks like he has the similar idea of using the damage boost. Can't really blame him. Do a second damage boost so we could just run past those spikes. Not a bad idea either. Yeah, we saw that lock burst after 8F. They both know that Fort is not going to be what's required, so they're going to have to play through Fort Knox, as we see TheHaxor doing right now. Yeah, with 3-1, definitely not a level you don't really have to worry too much about playing as Small Mario, although it is possible to get torpedoed by one of those cheap shoots, as we saw just a minute ago. Came dangerously close to him towards the end of that pipe. TheHaxor having to go through the orthodox path to get that Tanuki suit to fly up. At 3 stomps, Boom should be out of here, and he should be the first to get access to Wendy. Well, we'll see Bagler burning through his frog suit, so he might be losing a little bit of time just trying to get his way to that P-switch. Whether you're playing Randomizer or Vanilla, that Tanuki suit is always going to be there for 7F1 Gungeon. It's always possible that you'll have no tail in your inventory, but you still need a way of getting up there. But it looks like Haxor got a little caught up by those sledge bros. But nonetheless is able to just screen wrap past them with the screen transition. Still no trouble at all. I'm guessing Haxor didn't know what airship he was going to be going on, and he just wanted something that that he could use to damage boost through. So it's probably why he chose to use that frog suit. Well, the Bagler had a nice opportunity to fly up from the beginning of the World 6 airship and save himself a good 10 seconds to get to Wendy. Nonetheless, he's really not that far behind. Still a very close race between these two. Right, we've seen Worlds 1, 7, and 3, so I'm going to go ahead and guess the next one's going to be World 4. And yes, there's always going to be a tail power up in that one single room of 6-5. All right, so we see. Remember Haxor talking to me like a couple days ago about how he had an interesting strat for the big Mario wall jump, and I'm guessing that those comebacks that he used to wind up is meant to put him on a good sub-pixel, but it doesn't look like he wants to really gamble on that too much. They're both going to take one attempt at it, go into the pipe. .69 is not a long level per se, but if you're able to get that wall jump, you can still save a good chunk of time that way. Alright, Haxor's going to backtrack for the card game. We'll see if he's able to get anything else. Wow, it looks like Bagler's froze up a little bit in 6-9. So okay, so it looks like we're back now. Alright, so we're in the 3F2 now. Again, the swimming strats you're going to be doing in this fort is going to be pretty consistent with vanilla. The enemies are still going to be in their usual spots. Rotodisc are still going to be behaving pretty consistently, so just navigate through these boo platforms, and you're good to go. So Bagler's going to have a nice opportunity to get a nice fire kill on Boom Boom and gain back an additional 2 or 3 seconds. And yeah, there's definitely an overworld that you want to have clouds in. World 6 is definitely one of them because it's one of the longer overworld maps, and we saw a glitch that normally happens in Randomizer with the boomerang and fire bros. Sometimes if you enter with a star and then just hit one of the bonk blocks, it'll just take out both of them at the same time. Really interesting the way that was coded. Right, so yeah, speaking of levels that are pretty consistent with strategies as far as vanilla goes, 4-4 is definitely included in that bunch. So the Lakitu is always going to be in that same spot as it normally would be. So the way it moves around and the way it throws the spinies is consistent with how you're navigating through the water. So as long as your inputs are the same, the outcome is going to be the same. I'm seeing a suggestion that we need to replace the Lakitu with the boss bass, and yeah, as far as that goes, I'm going to respectfully decline, my friend. All right, so we just see both of our racers finishing up the 1-6 beta. The platforming is a little wonky compared to what you would normally see, but the core of it is still pretty much the same. Ooh, it looks like Bagler got stuck between those two single tile platforms and a bit of a death there, but still a minor setback. Yeah, he's gonna enter the 7-6 beta now with all those waterfalls. So there's not gonna be any enemies in this level, but you can still lose a little time depending on how fast and aggressive your swimming is. It looks like TheHaxor tried to build up P-speed so that you would have some quick navigation underneath that wall, but that boss bass is not going to allow him that opportunity nonetheless. Yes, to answer the question in chat, yes, there's going to be a bunch of levels that were part of the beta when developing the game, and they're still part of the game's code, even though they're not normally accessible. But in Randomizer, you still have full access to them. Yeah, TheHaxor just got the bad news that there's going to be one more fort required in order to build that bridge in order to get to the airship, and it turns out it's going to be the Air Force, since I do believe that's the last fort left. Bagler's going to pick up that mushroom right there. We'll see if he's going to get that item from 1-3, or if he's just going to continue pushing forward. Looks like he's already built up a nice, robust inventory from his end card game, so he's going to make a wise decision just to forego and save himself a couple seconds. Ooh, so it looks like there is going to be a little bit of backtracking involved. I didn't see that, Oh, no! So on the Bagler side, it looks like he took out Boss Bass on the same frame that he got gulped, and in the end, the Boss Bass won. It's not something you see too often. Yeah, P-Wing is definitely not a bad idea. You can still fly high enough to get over that wall. Yeah, it's not very often you see a double KO like that. It's got to have a lot of precise timing in order to pull that off. Not impossible. All right, so yeah, I didn't see that lock that was right next to the bridge that was needed to open up the airship. So it turns out 6F3 is going to be the deciding factor here. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a full clear on this map. Good to see it. As we see from TheHaxor's inventory, he still does have his two clouds, and it turns out to be the wise decision to hold on to them because neither of these racers really is able to reliably predict that there was going to be some backtracking involved in order to get to the fort. We see some nice P-speed strats, and he's pretty much in the driver's seat for a fire kill. Hopefully he doesn't soft lock. Very easy to do with Lemmy when you have you're in an arena where the timing can really mess you up. A fun little fact about the Koopalings: it is possible to soft lock on those fights, and that often happens when you shoot the 10th and last fireball into them on the same frame that they either jump or shoot a projectile. And in which case they'll fall through the ground and you don't have an opportunity to grab the wand and the in-game timer freezes. Yeah, Bagler finally found 6F3, so he's gonna grab the orb from Boom Boom. And yeah, he'll be joining TheHaxor in World 5. Oh no, we see Just did a little marathon with just a moment ago. It looked like it had to be about a movement of 12 or 13. As far as the rules for soft lock goes, I haven't really consulted the rule book on as far as that goes, but because of how far it probably be into the race as that happens, I would imagine they would have to agree to do a rematch or just take the L on that. I'm sure one of the tournament organizers can clarify that for me. So yeah, it doesn't look like Bagler took the same strategy that TheHaxor did with just dropping down the pipe, taking that depth so we could see what the sky world looked like on that map. So looks like he's going to have to do a little bit of backtracking now as a result. And then have to play the tower to get back into the sky. Yeah, definitely a good level to have the P-Wing on is 5-2, so you don't have to worry about doing any awkward platforming depending on what the enemy set is. Gonna do a nice little damage boost here, boost off that enemy set, and he's gonna be able to maintain his P-Speed to the end of the pipe for the most part. Looks like Bagler tried to go for the star strat, so he has quick access to the pipe, but it looks like he missed it, and because you can't enter a pipe while in that somersault state, he had to do a little bit of waiting, so he's gonna lose a little bit of additional time there. Alright, so we see on TheHaxor side, he's going to be in 2-3, still doing a good job maintaining his Fire Flower. Definitely one of the trickier levels to get through. Oh, and he gets, just as I say that, he gets sniped by the Angry Sun. But nonetheless, he's able to get a pretty optimal entry into that pipe with the shell. Yeah, we see we're having to do a little bit of detouring to get back into the sky, and it looks like the next level is going to play is 6-2 without the auto-scrolling. Because he took that damage off that fire taunt, maybe not a bad idea to take it a little bit safe moving forward. Alright, so going to be in the World 5 airship. World 5, so we're going to be facing Roy on his in his vanilla location. Alright, so we have so far in this race we've played Worlds 1, 7, 3, 6, and 5. That leaves us with 2 and 4. Yeah, TheHaxor maintains a pretty substantial lead right now by at least 3 levels because of the differences in routing that they took in World 5. It was a pretty close race up until that point, unfortunately. Alright, so we're going to be coming up on World 2 next, and just as a reminder, TheHaxor still does have 2 clouds in his inventory, so we could just burn through those right now if you wanted to, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, even if it ends up being some pretty easy levels. Because you don't want to have a situation where you get to World 8 or you're very close to Bowser and they're still in your inventory. Alright, meanwhile we see the Bagler wrapping up 6F2. An easy work of Boom Boom. Alright, so we're coming up on 7-7. Ooh, and it looks like he hit the clip to he hit the corner pixel that he would need to clip into the pipe to get straight to the other side of the level and finish it. But yeah, he was on the bad sub-pixel, so we just rejected him anyway. Yeah, looks like Bagler's having to take it a little bit more carefully so he doesn't get sniped by those reverse roto discs. Making very easy work of that boom boom. Yep, that's right. He still does have his hammer. He can break that lock. There was no better time that he could have possibly used it unless he wanted to play those 2 extra levels. For his trouble, he gets yet another hammer. And we're coming up on my favorite level of the whole game, 7F2. Couldn't tell if that was a deliberate death or he just misplatformed on that pipe. He just remembered he had that last cloud, so he's just gonna power through there. Can't really blame him for that. Meanwhile, it seems that we just got a raid from Mitch Flower Power, so yeah, just welcome on in, everybody. Everybody's been enjoying the race between Bagler and TheHaxor so far. We're just in the closing stages of race 2, so we just have 2 more worlds to make it through. So we just saw World 2, so we have World 4 and World 8 left. It was a very interesting choice on TheHaxor's side to use the hammer suit. I do believe that was the only one that was in his inventory, so I'm guessing he's banking on either getting another one at some point or using a Fire Flower for Bowser and then just holding on to it until then. Wasn't able to catch what was in that anchor, though. Oh, we saw a nice, unfortunate hitbox collision between Mario and Roy on Bagler's side just now. Looks like he did. Roy did one of his moonwalk jumps straight into the air, and fortunately was accelerating too high that he just went right through him. It looks like this World 4 overworld map is pretty linear for the most part, albeit a little bit long. Oh, was doing a really good job of using the hammer suit to just snipe out the enemies that were in his way, but unfortunately that last set with the Flumpu and the Hotfoot all got him at the same time. We'll see what that means for him as he makes his way to World 8. Yeah, as Human Mustard is pointing out, Bagler still does have his clouds if he wants to burn through those at some point. Alright, so he pretty much has the same idea where he wants to do the corner clip on the pipe. Again, he hits the corner pixel as well, and the sub-pixel just rejects him. We're seeing 4F1 in the 4F1 vanilla spot. Hashtag, is this even randomized? Alright, so it looks like Bagler's in 7-3 right now, and he's going to be making use of that the chain of stars that you would normally see in vanilla. Interesting to note that in Randomizer, that star isn't always there. Sometimes you can get a different power-up instead. So, there's pushing up Iggy on the World 4 airship. Sorry, not World 4, World 7 airship. So he tried to go for a fire kill there, almost took damage with that nice clutch duck in the middle. Oh yeah, and interesting to see that Bagler does have 2 hammer suits left in his inventory. Still does have his cloud. Alright, so Hax is going to be the first one going into World 8, aka the Great Equalizer. He doesn't have any more clouds left, so he's going to have to be... He's stuck playing 7-9, so he's choosing to forego the bottom flips and just go straight through the normal maze path. Probably not the avenue that he wanted to take in order to finish this up, but in the enemy set and the fact that he's so close to the end of the race, why even take that risk? As long as there's a way forward, just let it be what it is. Get a nice clutch shot on that Angry Sun. A little bit blindsided by that red Koopa there. Oh, and Bagler making some really good use of that of the P-Speed and strats in Tank 1. A pretty optimal way to get through that level, and saves him a nice 3 seconds over just getting through there without P-Speed at all. Alright, so we see Haxor finishing up 2F, meanwhile Bagler's in 7F2. Alright, so with 1-4 down, 3 to go, potentially, so hopefully one of the other ones will be required and it'll be a Jet World 8. Right, so we see the hand bridge, we see on the first screen, we saw the path to the elbow up top. Alright, so we see our first side of the dark room. So definitely not a bad idea, just to knock out one more fort on the way to that next pipe transition, unless in case that happens to be the one. He's curious. He increases his chances of it, the coast being clear. Nice stomp on, I believe to be Morton that last ship. It's a good idea to have that star going into the fight. Oh, Darkroom just trolled the crap out of Haxor just now. But yeah, he broke that lock and he didn't realize that there was going to be another one just now.
That's why they invited you. Party pooper. Party pooper.
So turn your notifications off. Alright, so we saw the entire upper portion of the dark room, so there's not going to be many pipes left to check at this point, so in all likeliness it's probably going to be in the upper left portion of the dark room. Alright, so yeah, he did complete whatever fort was needed in order to get to Bowser's Castle, if there was any at all. The only thing that's in his way now is 5-7. Alright, so the coast is clear to Bowser's Castle. He's gonna use his anchor, and it happens to be a fire flower, so definitely something you like to see at the end. So he's gonna save a good portion of time not having to wait for that floor to break. We see Bagler finishing up the World 7 airship. He will be facing Iggy as well. And again, he does still have 2 hammer suits going into World 8, so he's pretty much set for these last set of forts. And Hax is able to get that first try clip this time. Very nice. So now, the only thing standing in his way is Bowser, and hopefully he gets him a good pattern so he doesn't have to take any inevitable damage. Not a pattern you see too often, but it happens. It's killed some really good runs before. Alright, so he lucked out. Nice 35 shots into him, and Bowser's down. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GGs out for Haxor. He's going to take race 2 as well. He's going to finish up with an official race time of 40 minutes flat. Yeah, while we're waiting for Bagler to finish up World 8, we'll see if we can get him in here for some interviews. Alright, so we see Bagler finishing up 2F right now. So yeah, it looks like Bagler just did finish up, he did end up using one of his clouds. To skip that first question mark panel. Doesn't want to deal with that hand trap, so he's going to take the 100 coin fine. Just keep pushing forward. Can't really blame him for that. Alright, so he's going to use his anchor as well, so he's going to be using P-Speed strats all through the Navy. Very nice. And we're joining in the commentary booth by TheHaxor. GG, my man.
Yo, thanks, man. I don't know what the heck, dude, that second seed. How did I make every bad decision? That was insane.
I actually didn't make every bad decision. There was actually a very crucial one that you made in World 5 that, unfortunately, Bagler wasn't able to capitalize on. And, okay. So, yeah, it looks like this was a pretty rough seed as far as trying to find the fort in order to get to the end of World 6.
Yeah, okay, so he didn't... So he took the pipe and went in and went down and went out the tower and had to play the tower, didn't he? Is that what happened? Oh my goodness, yeah.
So
thankfully, I've made that mistake, right? So
I'm sure we all have at some point. But yeah, it was actually a pretty close race for at least a good portion of the race until that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was only like... guys were only like one level apart, and then you were able to gain another 2 or 3 on him until that happened.
He must have hammered in World 7 too, huh? I mean, I just felt like I saw the lock there, and I'm like, I know there's 2 forts here. It's a 50-50. I have to go through all these pipes to search for the fort. Like, let's just hammer. And I mean, if I would have kept it, I actually would have saved like 6 stages in the next world. So it would have been worth actually keeping it.
Yeah, when I saw you got to World 7 and you saw the block that was right in the front of the castle, you hesitated for a couple of seconds, like, do I really want to use this hammer? Is this too good to be true? But yeah, Bagler didn't even hesitate at that same section. Yeah, you both pretty much made the. Both made some very identical routing decisions in both races, to be honest. But yeah, it looked like race 1 ended up being a little bit closer in the end. Yeah, speaking of race 1, how about those hammers?
Yeah, that was a lot of hammers that were completely useless. Did he get one that he could actually use? Because yeah, I didn't get anything till I think World 6, and that was after we could even use them.
And a lot of the hand traps and the hammer bros are just giving them out like candy. And of course that would happen on a seed where you can't break locks with them.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, okay, well I have all these useless hammers I can throw at Bowser, I guess, you know? Two is all I need, so...
Yeah, we see Bagler using up his last cloud and as he gets his way to Bowser's castle, so he's just gonna go in there with full force with the hammer suit and the star. Go for that elevated clip, doesn't quite get it. Taking a little bit more carefully around the dry bones and those roto discs. Can't really blame him for that. Nice one-up clip, just one more clip into Bowser, and then yeah, he's on his way out of here as well.
It seemed like World 8 was free if you just, you know, went to the right pipe right away. It seemed like it anyway.
The routing for this World 8 was infinitely better than Race 1. You guys pretty much had to contend with the same situation. Where, yeah, you pretty much exhausted every option until you got to Bowser, but this one was a lot more linear, so if you just took the hand bridge and then just let it lead you to the upper left portion of the dark room, you were in good shape.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot nicer. First race was crazy. When I saw that lock broke, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna have to go all the way to that corner. I'm like, oh my god, I have to go to this fort all the way in the corner.
So yeah, with that with that hammer kill on Bowser, Bagler finishes up with an official race time of 45:19. Everyone get your GGs out for him. So we'll see if we can get him in here for some interviews as well. Yeah, do please give both of our races a follow if you haven't already, and the commentator if you feel so inclined.
Yeah, I honestly felt I was losing in race 2 because he played pretty well in race 1. I think he'd said, you know, he was like average or above it, and you know, that's considering normally you play seeds that you can break locks with hammers, and so those are generally a little faster. Not necessarily, but generally.
You had a couple opportunities to catch up on a couple of mistakes that you had made, like when you took damage in 6-5 after flying up to that clutch, and you got hit by that Paragoomba and had to re-grab the leaf. So yeah, Bagler was able to get through there in one pass.
I was about to throw it, and I was like, really? Oh no. I wasn't even looking at the Koopa. I'd never even considered, but yeah, for some reason the P meter gave me a lot of trouble in that level. That's what I get for trying to save a little bit of time, not taking some pipe transitions, I guess.
It looks like the P meter both gave you the business when you were both trying to fly up to get that off-screen one grab in some of the boss arenas.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to line them up, right? They have to be on... You have to get them on like an odd hit. If that makes sense. To like 1, 3, and 5, you can get them kind of in the corner to get P speed and go up. But I think they're even kills.
Once you take out the boss and it's in the center of the arena, it's very easy to get frame rolled when you're doing your turn back against the first wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a ton of inventory in race 2, so I you know, when I hammer and I see 7F2, I'm like, well, I have to cloud this. I have a cloud left, so I just clouded it, and then I have no inventory, and I don't want to die in the airship and play that level, so I'm like, well, I guess I'll just equip the hammer suit.
Yeah, we're joined in the commentator's booth by the Bagler. GG, my friend.
Hello. GG, Haxor.
Yeah, GG, man.
Thank you.
It's a rough one.
Oh, yeah, that second one, man. Holy cow.
I thought I was losing the whole time. Like, honestly, I'm like, there's no way I win this. Like, this is... I'm making... I feel like every decision I made was wrong, and I don't... I made one like really bad decision. That was in World 4. I only played one extra level, but it was pretty bad. But I think other than that,
I made quite a few
was
bad
okay.
decisions as well, and on top of some dodgy gameplay here and there. I died at that 1/6 beta level, like sort of towards the end, which is kind of a shame. That
Yeah,
was,
you-
like, costly
Okay.
death, and then that sort of thing on top of bad decision making. So you weren't alone.
In race 2, I'm sorry, in race 1, you guys were both very close. I was just remarking to TheHaxor before that you guys were only about a level apart for most of the seed and took very similar approaches to routing. But in race 2, what ultimately was, I think there was a point of no return was when you routed World 5, you didn't take that death in the first transition pipe dropping down. So you didn't see what was in the sky world at first, so you had to do a little bit of backtracking with the tower. So that put you about 3 levels behind.
Oh, see, that's a very good idea, Teeks. You taught me
Yeah.
something right there.
Yeah, because you haven't played enough randomizer. You've probably never like made that mistake before or seen configurations like that. But yeah, if you get that pipe, if you just take the intentional spill there, and you can come back out where you went in. And actually, if it is in the sky, I think he was trying to imply, if that tower ends up going into the sky, then you can actually get a picture of the sky first, and then make your decision on which pipe you want to go into.
Right. Yeah. See, that's actually a very good idea. Thank you for that. I ended up getting a cloud out of the deal. So I went through the transition.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm just gonna fight the bros. Just like since I'm over here and screwed anyway. I had like nothing at that point, right? I was like, oh, we'll see what they got him. One of them had a cloud, and I think I like rage. I died at the end of 2-3 to like to the sun. That was a small Mario, and I was trying to kick
Sure.
shells, and I was like, screw this, and just clouded it with. It's like I have this extra cloud, so I don't want to deal with this crap level again.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That seems to lag a lot sometimes, and the sun, like for some reason, will just phase through Koopa shells when it's laggy. I don't know.
2-3 is you kind of got to play it a little bit more cautiously than I probably did there. So I take full responsibility for my actions, but that can be quite an annoying level, for sure.
Yeah, honestly, like red rocketing that level is pretty good if you can. If you can do it without taking damage, because you can just get out of there real quick if there's like a sun or something at the end.
Yeah. I think I had used a star just randomly because I think I was small and didn't have any power-ups. It's like, oh, I'll use a star. So
Sure.
That would be useful. And then, so I made it through most of the enemies without a scratch, and then right at the end, I got screwed by that sun. I was like, this isn't what normally happens. Uh-oh.
For Bagler, for being new to Randomizer, I think you did a really impressive job, and I think that a lot of the time you put into vanilla, a lot of those skills carried over. So very nice job, regardless. So
Thank you, Peace.
yeah, you have your match with Haxor down. You finished your race with Rakor. So depending on how your race with Disaster Caddy comes up, that could have implications for how you advance to the bracket. So I wish you the best of luck with that, and to Haxor for your remaining matches in the group stage as well. I do believe this was your first match.
Yep, getting getting Bagler out of the way right away. didn't want to wait till Bagler played more matches. Got a little better. So
Yeah, scoot Bagler into the trash real quick before I move on. And
yeah, I don't want you to I don't want to play you like 3 weeks in when you've figured out Randomizer more and have made some of these mistakes.
I've been doing a lot of practice and stuff offline, but there's still a lot of things there's still a lot of randomizer specific things that I really need to pick up on. For example, that pipe transition thing that would have saved me a ton of time in that one world. So I'm still kind of learning some of that stuff, but I'm having a lot of fun so far, even though I got smoked, Haxor, but it was fun.
Race 1 was close. Honestly, I played really well at race 1 too, and so you obviously did if you're that close. Did get a little unlucky in World 8, but that's just normal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Very nicely done to both of you guys. Once again, give both of these races a follow if you haven't already. And big thank you again to SpeedGaming for hosting this event and to Pro007 for organizing it. So yeah, do keep your eye out for other races that are going to be coming out throughout this week. Meanwhile, we also have on SpeedGaming 1 throughout the rest of the night, we have the No Kids Hungry Marathon. So going on right now, I do believe we have the Hello Kitty and Sanrio Friends racing. And over on SpeedGaming 3, we have Super Metroid Rando League 2021. And on SpeedGaming 5, we have the Link to the Past Randomizer 2021 tournament. So yeah, GG's again to both of our racers. I'm Teeks88, and hope you all have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks again, Teeks. Night, Hooks.